talking about. I'm not really that important. We could have done this outside in the pool. It's snowing. It's 10 degrees out. Recording right now. That's all right. It's fine. Let's hope nobody uses the elevator either, because the elevator's getting maintenance and it sounds really rough and it's loud. Because I have 2 to 3 other jobs outside of my full-time job that I like to do. I like to stay busy. If I have a weekend off and I don't have anything planned for the weekend, I find myself sitting around and I feel like I haven't accomplished anything if I don't have any structure to what I'm doing. So I kind of like, I pick up part-time jobs and just go with those. I'm a licensing approver for the University of Iowa, which means anytime artwork comes through, I say yes or no on the artwork, and I don't mean like paintings and things like that. I mean t-shirt and hat designs and screen printing type stuff. So, on an average month, we might see 500 different pieces of artwork come through our office. For the last 6 years, worked for Learfield Communications, the sports broadcasting company. I've done sideline reporting, interviews, production work for radio, just photography on sideline, just whatever kind of needs to be done for them. My name is Matt Meseck, and I am the recreation supervisor for the city of North Liberty. Well, it means I work Monday through Friday is my set schedule, roughly noon to 9:30 whenever we get out here at night. But that doesn't mean that I won't be here in the morning. I won't be here on the weekends. It's really kind of supervise the facility at night. I handle all the part-time staff. I kind of handle all the special events and all the room reservations and things along those lines. So I kind of do a little bit of everything in the facility. My hobbies, I guess, would be work, and I also like to play basketball occasionally. I like to watch sports on TV. Just kind of hanging out with friends and things like that, I guess, would be my hobbies. I like the special events most. I like when we do things like haunted happenings or the hayrake ride, or things around Christmas time. I like some of the stuff we do with Easter, things like that. I'm trying to expand it a little bit more. I've added the farmers market. I've added a nighttime ski at Sundown Mountain, which I think will be a lot of fun. So I like the special events. I also like working with the staff that we have. I get along real well with all the staff in the city. I like special events, I guess, a little bit more than I do than running a basketball league or a soccer league. Just because if you're running a soccer league, you really can't be hands-on unless even the director of our soccer and our basketball leagues really can't be hands-on. It's the coaches and the officials who are really hands-on during that activity. Whereas if I'm running a special event, I'm running a hayrake ride, or I'm running a farmer's market, I'm right there in the middle of it. I'm kind of, I get to make the calls on what is and what doesn't go. So I guess I kind of like that aspect of it. I like going to the football games. Football is where I've done all my work for Learfield. It started off as just kind of a makeshift internship. I just kind of fell into it on accident, and it went from really just kind of setting out programs in the morning and helping out with the pregame radio show to producer and kind of half engineer. And I've done sideline reporting. I've interviewed coaches after the games and taken photos for press guides and whatever else needs to be done. Most of my work is at the home games, and then for the road games we go on site at different locations and do a pre and post game call-in show. We get some really interesting people that call us up. Probably my favorite one was probably 2 or 3 years ago after a home. Actually, it was a road loss. We were doing a remote site at D&D Hummer in the Quad Cities. An individual called and had obviously had a few too many drinks, was quite sauced by that call, and had said they were calling through their karaoke machine at home, and just kind of rambled on for about 10 minutes. We just let the caller go because, every once in a while you just kind of got to do that. It was a particularly bad loss, so we thought that was a good laugh for us. Podolak and Dolph are both very emotional. It's real fun to see them interact off the air. I mean, they obviously they got to restrain themselves a little bit on air, but boy, they want to see Iowa win more than, just about any. And Podolak, he's as passionate as anybody can be about football. But they're great to work with. They've been nothing but professionals, and it's a lot of fun. And I hope Ed gets to come back to us. I was born in Denison, Iowa. Lived in that area for the first 4 years of my life, and then moved to outside of a town called Owano, Iowa. It's on the Iowa-Nebraska border. And then I went to elementary school there, and then junior high and high school in a school district called Arweva, which would be by the Carroll area. And then moved over here in 2002 to finish my schooling at Iowa. I actually graduated from the University of Iowa in 2004, December of 2004. My degree is in health and sports studies, so I knew I wanted to be in recreation. And at that time, I just saw a receptionist spot open up here at the Recreation Community Center in, would have been the summer of 2005. Said, hey, it's an entry-level position, but it's my foot in the door type of thing. So I went ahead and applied for it. A couple weeks later, interviewed. A couple weeks after that, got the job. So started in August 2005. Was renting an apartment at the time, and just have kind of planted my roots here. Bought a house, got married, so here I am. The opportunities, I guess, the fact that we're sandwiched right between roughly 80 to 100,000 community in Coralville and Iowa City, and 120,000 whatever Cedar Rapids Marion is. So I just liked, there's arts and entertainment here. It's still relatively affordable. It's still relatively safe, but there are some opportunities, and there's a good mix of people in this area. My family right now includes my wife, Stacy. We got married in April of 2007. And that fall would have been November of 2007. We added a dog, Mocha, that my wife would sure want me to plug on this. So we added a dog. We don't have any kids right now. I would imagine that that's in the plans. So right now it's just my wife and my dog, and we live out on Goose Lake. We actually worked at Hy-Vee together. She was in high school, I was in junior college, and I was trying to set her up with a friend of mine, and it never worked out, so I asked her on a date, and that was 1999, and we got married, 8 years later. The first movie was a terrible chick flick. God-awful. I want to say it starred, the girl from Sabrina, the Teenage Witch, or something like that. It was terrible. I can't remember the name of it, though. It was horrible. Just terrible. We both hated it, so that went well. No, the second movie was a baseball movie, For the Love of the Game, with Kevin Costner, and that was serviceable. It wasn't great, it wasn't terrible, so it just kind of fell in line. That would have been the second one. That's how I remember the baseball movie, but I can't remember the chick flick name. She finished up school in spring of 2006, and we actually got engaged on April Fool's Day 2006, so she thought it was a joke. It wasn't. I actually, would have been, a month and a half before she graduated, I told her that she was going to a mutual friend of ours' house who is a retired school teacher in the Iowa City School District, and she thought she was going there to meet local principals and, other teachers in the area, try to get her foot in the door that way because she was getting ready to do the interview process. And so I knew that would get her all dressed up for the moment. And then I had their backyard. They live in Iowa City. I had, flowers and candles and stuff like that. And they walked her downstairs, and I was kind of waiting outside. And she laughed at first and thought it was a joke. And then I guess she did the typical woman thing, started crying. I wasn't really nervous. I wasn't afraid she was going to say no. I mean, we'd been pretty open about where we thought our lives were going at the time. So I was pretty confident that, she was going to say yes. HD television in some way, it has to be able to work. So I would definitely take a TV, a lifetime supply of con queso dip. If somehow a bag of chips washes up, that'll be nice. But I guess if I have to spoon the queso dip somehow, I will. And my iPod Touch. I'm just assuming that they'll never run out of juice. I'll hook them into a coconut or something. I watched Gilligan's Island. I know how that works. Obviously, like the University of Iowa, any of their teams I'll root for. I've also been known to be a 49ers fan. First professional football game I remember watching would have been in the mid-'80s, and it was the 49ers versus the Rams. And I just picked a team and stuck with them. I guess, for baseball, I would go with the St. Louis Cardinals, too. That's I would definitely have to go with the Cardinals. I try to get down to 2 or 3, 4 games a year with them. I don't really follow the NBA, so I got nothing there, and I don't really like hockey. So most of my allegiance is to the University of Iowa teams. Favorite TV show outside of sports would be Scrubs. I don't have any idea. I guess it's just a little off the wall. It's not normal humor. It's a little different. I guess it's marketed to a certain type of individual, and I guess I'm that individual. My earliest memory would be a granddaddy longleg crawling up the front of my shirt while I stood outside of our house, probably about 2.5 years old. Freaked me out. I ran and hid. Terrified. I hate spiders. I hate them. I want to smash them all. I don't like bugs. I just don't like them. I leave snakes and spiders outside. They don't need to be inside. I guess one thing I'd like to share with the people of North Liberty is if you're out and about, and if this airs before the first weekend of March Madness, which is the spring break week for the Iowa City School District, so that Thursday and Friday, the first weekend of March Madness, if you want to come say hi, I will be with a can of soup at Buffalo Wild Wings in Coralville, open to close for 4 straight days. So if you want to come say hi, that's where I'll be. Don't ask why I bring a can of soup. It's an inside joke, but that's where I'll be for 4 days, and I put on about 10 pounds over those 4 days.
You're not joking?
I'm not even remotely joking. No, this is my time. The people here I work with kind of know, don't call me during those 4 days. My wife knows she leaves town during those 4 days, and she goes to stay with her mom. This is Matt time. This is the 4 days out of the year that I declare as Matt time. I do not sleep there. No, they have not let me do that yet. But I leave when they close, and I'm there when they open. And there's usually 2 or 3 or 4 friends of mine that come down and try to make the pilgrimage, if you will, with me. I had a bad experience at the Buffalo Wild Wings in Iowa City. It spoiled me on them. They kicked us out one year to have a party, and ever since then I don't particularly enjoy the one downtown. It angered me, so luckily they rebuilt one in Coralville, so I go to that one.